Wonders of Japan, a journey through tradition and innovation. Japan, an archipelago of contrasts and captivating beauty, stands as one of the world's most fascinating countries. This island nation seamlessly blends ancient traditions with cutting-edge modernity, creating a tapestry of experiences that bewilders and enchants visitors from across the globe. From snow-capped mountains to subtropical islands, from serene temples to bustling metropolises, Japan offers countless wonders that reflect its unique history and cultural evolution. The following documentary explores these marvels, delving into the natural landscapes, historical landmarks, cultural practices, and technological innovations that make Japan truly exceptional. The natural splendor of Japan. Japan's geography has profoundly shaped its identity and aesthetic sensibilities. The country spans a diverse range of ecosystems, each offering distinct natural wonders worthy of exploration. Among these, Mount Yoshino in Nara Prefecture stands as one of the nation's most celebrated sites for cherry blossom viewing. Thousands of cherry trees drape the mountain slopes in delicate pink blooms, creating a breathtaking panorama that has inspired poets and artists for centuries. The extended blooming season, a result of various cherry species growing at different elevations, allows visitors to enjoy this spectacle over a more extended period. Beyond its natural beauty, Mount Yoshino holds deep spiritual significance as a pilgrimage site for practitioners of Shugendo, an ancient Japanese religion that blends elements of Shintoism and Buddhism. Venturing southward to Kyushu's southern tip reveals the mystical island of Yakushima, home to one of Japan's most enchanted landscapes. This remote island's ancient, dense forests serve as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and famously inspired the supernatural woodland setting in Studio Ghibli's acclaimed film, Princess Mononoke. The primeval atmosphere of Yakushima emanates a magical aura, with moss-covered stones and twisted tree roots creating an otherworldly environment that seems to whisper of forest spirits. The island's most treasured natural monuments are the ancient Yakusuji cedars, some of which have stood for more than a millennium, silently witnessing Japan's evolution through the ages. Alongside these majestic trees, Yakushima supports diverse wildlife, including Japanese macaques and the Yakushima deer, species that have adapted to this isolated ecological haven. In the northern reaches of Japan lies Hokkaido, the nation's second-largest island after Honshu and home to Shiratoko National Park. This remarkable reserve showcases Japan's wildest landscapes, characterized by rugged mountains and visible volcanic activity manifested through numerous hot springs. As Japan's coldest region, Shiratoko presents a stark contrast to the subtropical environments of the southern islands. Winter transforms the eastern coast into a dramatic vista where black sand beaches meet snow-covered mountains, creating a monochromatic landscape of exceptional beauty. The park's vast plains and wilderness areas provide crucial habitat for diverse wildlife, offering visitors a glimpse of Japan's natural environment before human development won. Islands and underwater mysteries. Japan's archipelagic nature has created numerous island wonders, each with distinctive characteristics. Among these, Yonaguni stands out not only for its remote location as Japan's westernmost territory, but also for what lies beneath its waters. This small island, merely 29 square kilometers in size, harbors what some believe to be one of Japan's greatest archaeological mysteries. In 1984, a professional diver discovered extraordinary underwater structures that some researchers consider to be the remains of an ancient civilization. These massive stone formations, featuring what appear to be terrace structures, straight walls, and staircase-like elements, continue to puzzle scientists and archaeologists who debate whether they represent natural geological formations or human-made constructions that would predate known Japanese civilization. The Japanese archipelago itself is a testament to the dynamic forces that have shaped our planet. Situated along the Pacific Ring of Fire, these islands bear the scars of a tumultuous geological birth. Volcanic activity has both destroyed and created, forcing the Japanese people to develop a philosophical outlook that acknowledges impermanence and finds beauty in transience. This perspective, encapsulated in the aesthetic concept of mono no aware, or the pathos of things, recognizes that the very impermanence of nature's beauty makes it more precious. The volatile landscape has produced natural masterpieces while simultaneously swallowing countless enigmas, creating a land of perpetual transformation that continues to evolve before our eyes. Historical wonders and cultural heritage. Japan's historical development has produced architectural and cultural wonders that stand as testament to the nation's unique path through history. Between the 16th and 19th centuries, Japan underwent a remarkable transformation from a land of chaos and violence to one of ritual refinement and structured peace. This period saw the rise of commanding shoguns, fierce samurai warriors, exotic geisha, and exquisite artisans who collectively created a Japanese Renaissance that would define the nation's cultural identity for centuries to come. The foundation of this historical wonder began with Tokugawa Ieyasu, who unified Japan and established a dynasty that would rule for over 250 years. This remarkable achievement brought stability to a land previously torn by civil war, though this peace came with significant costs. Under the shogunate system, particularly during the rule of Tokugawa Iemitsu, Ieyasu's grandson, Japan adopted a policy of strict isolation from the outside world. For nearly 250 years, Japan remained largely closed to Western influence, creating a unique cultural incubator that allowed distinctly Japanese arts, crafts, and social structures to flourish without external dilution. This period of isolation produced some of Japan's most distinctive cultural treasures. The city of Edo, modern-day Tokyo, developed into one of the world's most vibrant urban centers during the 18th century, fostering unprecedented cultural and economic growth despite, or perhaps because of, its separation from Western influences. The arts flourished during this period, with the development of ukiyo-e woodblock prints, kabuki theater, and distinctive architectural styles that continue to influence Japanese aesthetic sensibilities today. These cultural wonders emerged from a society that had turned inward, finding creative expression within the constraints of isolation and rigid social hierarchy. Ancient myths and national identity. Japan's cultural wonders extend beyond physical artifacts to include a rich tapestry of myths and legends that have shaped national identity. The ancient Japanese myths, collectively known as Shinto or the Way of the Gods, provide fascinating insights into how early Japanese people understood their world and their place within it. The oldest written compilation of these oral traditions, the Kojiki, contains stories about gods and heroes, the origins of the universe, and mythical events like the opening of the rock cave of heaven, where the sun goddess Amaterasu hid herself, plunging the world into darkness until being coaxed out by other deities. These myths served a crucial political purpose as well. The imperial family traced its lineage directly to the sun goddess Amaterasu, providing divine legitimacy to their rule. This mythological connection between Japan's ruling family and the divine remained a powerful unifying force throughout Japanese history, surviving even through periods when actual imperial power was eclipsed by military rulers. The intertwining of mythology with governance represents one of Japan's most remarkable cultural achievements, the creation of a national identity rooted in shared stories and beliefs that transcended regional differences. The late 500s marked a crucial period in Japan's development when the nation began an unprecedented project of state building that evolved into the highly centralized, emperor-led Ritsuryo state. What makes this political transformation particularly fascinating is that it didn't occur in isolation but was directly inspired by emerging powerful states in neighboring China and Korea. The Japanese demonstrated remarkable adaptability, studying continental systems of governance and adapting them to fit their unique cultural context. This ability to absorb foreign influences while maintaining a distinct identity would become a hallmark of Japanese cultural development through the centuries. Traditional arts and cultural practices. Among Japan's cultural wonders, few are as visually and orally striking as the performances of the Ondakoza taiko drummers. For more than 4 decades, this group of virtuoso musicians has cultivated an extraordinary approach to playing traditional Japanese drums, combining musical mastery with exceptional physical conditioning. The Ondakoza performers live in community, following a particular life code called Sogakuron, a philosophy that uniquely combines musical practice with long-distance running. Their concerts represent not merely musical performances, but holistic physical and mental achievements that require the same endurance and focus as running a marathon. This integration of artistic expression with physical discipline exemplifies the Japanese cultural tendency to elevate practical skills to art forms through dedicated practice and spiritual mindfulness. The visual arts of Japan represent another dimension of the nation's cultural wonders. Japanese photography has developed distinctive aesthetic approaches that reflect broader cultural values. The concept of the meaningful negative space between objects, often manifests in Japanese photographic composition, creating images that communicate as much through what is absent as through what is present. Photographers working in Japan, whether native or foreign, frequently engage with themes of transience, beauty and imperfection, and the relationship between humans and nature. These visual explorations provide windows into Japanese cultural sensibilities and social structures, documenting both tradition and transformation in this dynamic society. 6. Japanese traditional culture places great emphasis on ritualized practices, with tea ceremony, chado, standing as perhaps the most refined example. What began as a practical act of serving tea evolved into a highly codified practice emphasizing mindfulness, respect, and appreciation for transient beauty. Every movement within the tea ceremony carries meaning, from the arrangement of utensils to the turning of the tea bowl before drinking. The practice embodies core Japanese aesthetic principles: wabi, rustic simplicity; sabi, appreciation of imperfection and age; and yugen, mysterious profundity. These principles extend beyond tea ceremony to influence architecture, garden design, literature, and even contemporary Japanese design sensibilities. The wonder of these cultural practices lies in their ability to transform everyday activities into opportunities for spiritual and aesthetic contemplation. Educational and social structures. The Japanese educational system represents another fascinating aspect of Japanese society, particularly evident in extracurricular activities like high school baseball. Known as kokoyakyu, high school baseball in Japan transcends mere sport to become a vehicle for character development and national values. The training regimens are notoriously demanding, emphasizing perseverance, gamen, group harmony, wa, and proper form, kata, over individual achievement. Annual tournaments, particularly the Summer Koshien Championship, become national spectacles watched by millions, with participating teams representing not just schools, but entire communities. Through these highly ritualized sporting events, traditional values are transmitted to new generations in a form that remains relevant and engaging in modern society. Japanese social structures have evolved unique institutions that reflect cultural priorities and practical adaptations to dense urban living. Takonomiya, or standing bars, represent one such innovation. Compact establishments where patrons stand rather than sit, enabling social interaction in space-constrained environments while maintaining distinctively Japanese approaches to service and hospitality. These microcosms of Japanese social life provide opportunities to observe how traditional values of politeness, consideration for others, and proper social ordering manifest in contemporary settings. The ongoing popularity of such traditional social institutions, even as Japan embraces technological advancement, demonstrates the remarkable resilience of Japanese cultural patterns and their ability to adapt to changing circumstances without losing their essential character. Modern Japan. Innovation and tradition. Modern Japan presents a fascinating study in contrasts, where cutting-edge technology coexists with ancient traditions. The nation that gave the world bullet trains, robot hotels, and advanced electronics also carefully preserves thousand-year-old temples and traditional craft techniques. This juxtaposition is perhaps most visible in urban centers like Tokyo, where ultra-modern skyscrapers stand alongside Edo period gardens, and business people in Western suits might visit Shinto shrines during lunch breaks. The ability to maintain cultural continuity while embracing innovation represents one of Japan's most remarkable achievements. Rather than viewing tradition and modernity as opposing forces, Japanese society has often found ways to integrate new technologies and ideas while preserving the essential elements of cultural heritage that define national identity. Japanese popular culture has emerged as one of the country's most influential exports, with anime, manga, video games, and J-pop achieving global recognition. These creative industries draw inspiration from traditional Japanese storytelling techniques, aesthetic principles, and philosophical concepts, repackaging them in contemporary forms that appeal to international audiences. Characters in popular anime might demonstrate traditional values like gamin, perseverance, or embody concepts from Buddhist philosophy, even as they navigate futuristic or fantasy worlds. This cultural synthesis demonstrates how effectively Japan has maintained connections to its traditional past while creating thoroughly modern forms of expression that influence global popular culture. The technological innovations developed in Japan often reflect distinctive cultural priorities and social needs. Japanese robotics, for instance, has focused extensively on creating humanoid robots designed to provide care and companionship, reflecting both the nation's aging demographic challenges and cultural attitudes toward technology as potentially beneficial companions rather than threatening replacements for humans. Similarly, Japanese architectural innovations frequently combine cutting-edge engineering with traditional design principles, creating buildings that might use the latest sustainable technologies while incorporating elements like engawa, verandas, or shoji screens that have featured in Japanese buildings for centuries. These technological wonders demonstrate how innovation can be shaped by cultural values and historical experiences. Religious traditions and sacred sites. Religious traditions in Japan present another dimension of wonder, particularly in how they have blended and coexisted over centuries. Unlike many societies where religious traditions maintain clear boundaries, Japan has developed a syncretic approach where most Japanese participate in both Shinto and Buddhist practices, depending on the context and purpose. This religious flexibility has created a landscape dotted with sacred sites of remarkable diversity and beauty. Ancient Shinto shrines nestled in primeval forests stand as gateways between the human and divine worlds. Massive Buddhist temple complexes feature architectural marvels like Kyoto's Golden Kinkakuji or the Great Bronze Buddha of Kamakura. Mountain temples where Buddhist and Shinto elements merge serve as centers for spiritual practices like Shigendo, which combines religious devotion with ascetic mountain training. One particularly fascinating aspect of Japanese religious practice is the concept of matsuri, or festivals, which bind communities together through cyclical celebrations that honor local deities and seasonal changes. These events blend spiritual devotion with community cohesion and often preserve cultural practices that might otherwise have disappeared in the face of modernization. The Gion Matsuri in Kyoto, for example, has been conducted annually for over 1,000 years, featuring elaborate floats, yamaboko, constructed using traditional techniques and carrying priceless artworks through the streets. During such festivals, the boundaries between sacred and secular blur as religious processions seamlessly incorporate elements of entertainment, community pride, and economic activity. These living traditions represent cultural treasures passed down through generations, adapting to changing circumstances while maintaining connections to ancient beliefs. Historical resilience and national identity. Japan's historical development has been marked by remarkable resilience in the face of both natural disasters and human conflicts. The Mongol invasions of the 13th century provide a compelling example of this resilience. When Kublai Khan's massive fleets threatened Japanese shores, the nation united against this unprecedented foreign threat. Though Japanese warriors fought valiantly, the ultimate salvation came through what the Japanese called kamikaze, or divine wind, powerful typhoons that destroyed the Mongol fleets and preserved Japanese independence. This historical event reinforced Japanese beliefs about their nation's divine protection and special destiny, contributing to a sense of exceptionalism that would influence national identity for centuries to come. The rise of the samurai warrior class represents another historical wonder unique to Japan. These military nobility evolved from mounted archers into a sophisticated social class with an elaborate ethical code known as Bushido, or the Way of the Warrior. The samurai ethos emphasized loyalty, honor, martial prowess, and aesthetic refinement. Warriors were expected to be skilled not only in combat but also in poetry, calligraphy, and philosophical contemplation. This multidimensional ideal of the cultivated warrior had profound influences on Japanese culture, establishing values like self-discipline, responsibility to one's social group, and attention to proper form that continue to shape Japanese society today. The samurai legacy lives on not merely in museums and historical dramas, but in cultural attitudes toward duty, hierarchy, and personal conduct. The establishment of Buddhism as a state religion marked another pivotal development in Japanese history. Introduced from Korea in the 6th century, Buddhism quickly gained royal patronage and began to transform Japanese cultural and intellectual life. What makes this cultural adoption particularly fascinating is how Buddhism was adapted to complement rather than replace existing Shinto practices. The sophisticated philosophical concepts, architectural forms, and artistic traditions of Buddhism melded with indigenous Japanese spirituality to create syncretic forms unique to Japan. Temple complexes like Todaiji in Nara, housing one of the world's largest bronze Buddha statues, stand as physical manifestations of this cultural synthesis that brought continental Asian influences into conversation with Japanese sensibilities. The wonders of Japan span from its volcanic peaks to its underwater mysteries, from ancient temples to futuristic cities, from traditional arts to popular culture phenomena. What makes these wonders truly remarkable is not just their individual beauty or significance, but how they interconnect to form a cultural tapestry of exceptional richness and coherence. Despite periods of isolation and dramatic social transformation, Japan has maintained cultural continuity while demonstrating remarkable adaptability. The nation's ability to absorb foreign influences, whether Chinese bureaucratic systems, Western technologies, or global pop culture, while transforming them into distinctively Japanese forms represents perhaps its greatest wonder.